What was that? Jackie exclaimed, his face flushed with irritation, his fists clenched. Chris, smiling and utterly unperturbed, merely shrugged, as if his improvisation hadn't just derailed a perfectly rehearsed scene worth thousands of dollars. This constant clash between discipline and chaos was not only at the heart of their on-screen duo but also a true test for the entire Rush Hour crew. Behind the scenes, invisible storms raged, and no one knew if this explosive duo would make it to the end of filming without a real fight. The air on set was electric, and it seemed as if thunder was about to strike, putting an end to their collaboration. Detective Lee's career had long ceased to be a quiet routine. Ever since fate brought him together with the talkative and unpredictable Detective James Carter, every day of his life turned into an emotional and eventful roller coaster. The mere mention of filming the first Rush Hour still evoked a mix of nostalgia and barely suppressed irritation in him. Jackie was accustomed to precision, discipline, and meticulous rehearsals. On set, he was always the first to arrive, always ready and focused. Every movement, every facial expression, was honed to perfection. For him, cinema was an art that demanded full dedication and impeccable coordination. He could spend hours practicing complex stunts, striving for absolute realism and spectacularity. Chris was his complete opposite. Energetic, talented, and utterly uncontrollable. His improvisations were often genius, but just as often they threw Lee off balance, ruining carefully constructed scenes. For Tucker, the film set was a stage for constant experimentation, a living organism that responded to his energy. He could change a line on the fly, add an unexpected gesture, or even an entire dialogue not in the script. "Jackie, my man. Did you see that run I did? I was like a real sprinter. All thanks to my new sneakers. And that girl who was looking at me, she definitely fell in love, I can see it in her eyes, man." Carter could burst into a conversation about a complex fight choreography, completely oblivious to the tension on Chan's face, and launch into another one of his stories, which, in his opinion, was incredibly interesting. Lee took a deep breath, trying to maintain his Olympic calm. He valued Chris's talent, his ability to make the crew laugh, and to create an unparalleled on-screen chemistry between their characters. After all, it was these contrasts that made their duo so unique. But punctuality? That seemed to be a word that didn't exist in Tucker's vocabulary. Being late for filming became a chronic problem, which greatly annoyed the meticulous Chan, who considered it not only a disrespect to his own time but also to the time of the entire film crew. Each day began with waiting for Chris, and those minutes turned into hours. Lee knew that rumors about Carter's special status circulated in Hollywood, but never suspected it could affect their project. One day, they were scheduled to shoot an important car chase scene on a busy Los Angeles street. The scene was complex, requiring precise coordination with traffic and extras. The film crew was ready, cameras were set, even the artificial rain began to fall on schedule. Only one person was missing, Chris Tucker. Hours passed, the sun had already begun to set, and Carter was still nowhere to be found. Jackie paced back and forth, his patience gradually wearing thin. His face was tense, and his brows furrowed. He felt his inner zen, which he had diligently built for years, beginning to crumble under the pressure of these constant delays. Finally, just as Lee was about to unleash a volcano of righteous anger, Chris appeared. He was smiling his signature wide grin, as if nothing had happened. He didn't even apologize, but simply began to recount his adventures on the way to the set. "Sorry, my man. Got a little stuck in traffic. There was this old lady at the crosswalk who thought she was a supermodel and put on a whole fashion show. And then a cat ran across the road, good luck charm. But I'm here, and I'm ready to rock. Where's my makeup? I already feel like this scene is going to be epic." Jackie barely managed to restrain himself from giving him a long lecture about the importance of punctuality and respect for others' time. But looking at the tired faces of the crew members, who had been waiting for hours for the shoot to begin, he simply sighed and waved his hand. Something about Chris's nonchalance was both irritating and disarming. "All right, let's start," he said wearily. Lee's voice was almost even, but anyone who knew him could sense the faint tension. "And what do you think?" As soon as the camera started rolling, Chris delivered such an improvisation that the entire crew just fell over laughing. His lines were so spot-on and unexpected, and his movements so comical that even the strict director Brett Ratner couldn't help but smile. Tucker's energy and charisma filled the frame, making the scene much better than originally scripted. He was like an untamed hurricane that, while destroying everything in its path, left behind something incredibly beautiful. Lee had to admit that this was Chris's unique quality. His unpredictability was often annoying, but at the same time, it gave the film that unique magic, that spark that distinguished Rush Hour from many other action movies. Their on-screen duo was so vibrant precisely because of this difference in characters and approaches to work. It was like yin and yang, two opposing forces that created a harmonious whole. During the filming of the sequel, nothing seemed to change. Chris continued to be late, improvise, and throw Jackie off balance with his unexpected lines and actions. He could turn a serious dialogue into a comedic stand-up routine, and a chase scene into a circus. But deep down, Lee had already grown accustomed to this peculiar chaos. He even started to find a certain satisfaction in it. After all, it was these unpredictable moments that made their collaboration so special and unforgettable for the audience. Sometimes, watching another one of Chris's antics on set, Jackie found himself thinking that without this constant struggle between their different styles, Rush Hour would never have become what it is. It was their peculiar dance, a dance of two completely different people who, despite everything, created a true miracle. Do you think these films would have been as successful if the main characters had more similar personalities? Or was it precisely the contrast between Lee and Carter that became the key to their popularity, adding not only dynamism but also humor to the film? Filming often turned into a joyful commotion, where Eastern discipline met Western carefree abandon. Jackie tried to teach Chris the basics of Kung Fu, demonstrating graceful movements and the philosophy of martial arts. And Chris, in turn, shared with Jackie the secrets of American slang, the latest hip-hop hits, and the ability to quickly find common ground with anyone, even the most hardened criminals. One time, during the filming of a fight scene in Hong Kong, in the second part of the film, Chris again surprised everyone with his improvisation. Instead of performing a rehearsed move, he suddenly began to imitate seagull cries while fending off the bad guys. The film crew once again erupted in laughter, and Jackie was initially confused, then couldn't help but smile himself. This moment even made it into the final cut of the film, becoming one of its most memorable comedic scenes. With time, Lee realized that it was not worth trying to change Chris. His spontaneity was part of his charm, his unique talent, his special gift that made him so indispensable. And although his lateness still annoyed him, Jackie learned to approach it with greater philosophy. He understood that sometimes the best things happen not according to plan, but in the chaos of unpredictability. That true mastery lies not only in adhering to rules but also in the ability to adapt and find beauty in imperfection. Do you believe that conflict between different approaches to work can lead to better results than complete harmony and agreement? Is it possible that friction and contradiction stimulate creativity and innovation? Share your thoughts or examples from your own experience. Despite all the disagreements and misunderstandings on set, there was a genuine friendship and mutual respect between Jackie Chan and Chris Tucker. They complemented each other, creating an unforgettable on-screen duo that was loved by millions of viewers worldwide. Their adventures in Rush Hour became a symbol that even completely different people can find common ground and achieve incredible results, especially when justice and saving the world are at stake. And sometimes, just a good joke that makes everyone laugh to tears. Their chemistry was a magnet that drew audiences to the screens, making them eagerly await each new installment of this exciting story. But what if this story was not just about the movies? What if their duo harbored a secret known only to a select few? Were their conflicts merely acting, or did a real struggle, never caught on camera, hide behind them? Were they truly detectives off-screen, investigating cases too dangerous to be revealed? Perhaps their films were just a cover, and their real work began when the cameras stopped rolling. Stay with us to uncover the truth, because the story of Rush Hour might be far deeper than you ever imagined. Subscribe to our channel to learn more interesting stories from the world of cinema, exclusive behind-the-scenes content, and much more. Stay with us and discover the amazing world of filmmaking.